Hey, what's up, Scorpio? Welcome back to this timeless general tarot reading. So, if you are here, you in fact are, to a certain extent, a rare breed because Scorpios do not seem to watch my videos very much. It's like Leos, Scorpios, and Sagittarius. They are by far my lowest view counts. So it's interesting that you are here if you are, and I do appreciate it. With that being said, I need to stipulate that all of the typical disclaimers are assumed, all of the non-typical disclaimers are asserted. I'm not responsible for your misuse of the truth imparted by this message if it is not meant for you in any way, shape, or form. You need to take what's meant for you, and you must leave the rest behind for someone else. Also, with that being said, make sure you check the timestamps below in order to skip past my random ramblings and bamblings. If your patience is wearing thin with me stalling for time, but it looks like this reading is off to a fast start here. You've already got a lot of energy coming out, a lot of negative energy, a lot of energy about a lack of success, a lot of energy about inability. You do have some wind energy, and there's also the potential that you, oh wait, excuse me, Scorpio is a water sign. Okay, so also make sure you, like I said, check the timestamps, and if you want to, there's a conclusion section where I basically spend the last 5 or 10 minutes of the video going over the final read. So if you're so inclined, make sure to skip to that to get the gist of the message. Up to that point, though, the only other thing I guess I could ask of you is to check the description box for ways that you can support me through social media, through PayPal if you're so inclined. Even though I'm doing this as a passion, I'm also trying to make this a form of living for my personal income and personal well-being. So any way, shape, or form that you can support me through that, even if it's just following me on social medias, that would be greatly appreciated. Alright, so let's see here. 3 minutes and you've already got 5 cards out. That's pretty good. A lot of the other reads have been stuck at the initial onset, so it looks like you're not off to a bad start here. What I'm seeing, though, is a little tough. Definitely signs of emotional apathy that you're stuck in, but the reasons for that being perhaps a narrow-mindedness or an inability to reflect. There's some kind of mentalism that is not serving you, but it's not just that it's not serving you, it's that you're stuck in it. So there's some kind of mental pattern that you have found yourself stuck in, and it's got you kind of trapped in emotional apathy. You aren't managing to shift your perspective, and that's causing you to get stuck kind of ho-humming through life, I would say. And it's not just that emotion on the emotional level you are not satisfied, but you're also having trouble moving on to better things. You're having trouble feeling like you're achieving things properly. Your success is it's even suggested that your ability to succeed might be stunted. Your ability to move forward in life might even be stuck here. So a lot of very stuck energy. And then after that, we've got this notion of some kind of toxic individual, some kind of insecurity from an individual that may be contributing to this. And that's what the King of Swords is. And it's an individual that is like, the idea is that they put you down. They use their they use their words to maybe control who you are or shape who you are. So there's half a sign here that you are maybe being shaped by somebody else, by somebody else's insecurities. And that's very disappointing. But after that, we have this interesting sign of the Chariot coming out for you. Dang, we have the Queen of Swords here on the back end here. So yeah, this is... What is this? This is very strange because you have a lot of like negative energy. This sort of emotional apathy. You're stuck in this mental pattern, and this mental pattern is stifling your ability to enjoy things properly and move forward in life to a solid degree. Whoops, I just noticed that my cards are a little janky. Let me move those. But then, like, as soon as I make that point, you wind up getting the Chariot and the Ten of Cups. So I don't understand what is... I'm actually a little confused here because Chariot is a sign of success, and the Chariot is a sign of... It's definitely opposite of the Six of Swords reversed energy. And it's very strange here that you have these... The Chariot to the Ten of Cups is very strong. That is a very strong sign. Because... Oh. Jeez. This is very weird. Very, very weird. I've been completely honest with you, I'm baffled here. I'm baffled by how this... The only thing that's coming to mind is that your internal world wants to succeed differently than this. Obviously, you don't want to fall into these patterns, but dang. There's other individuals that are contributing to your inability to reach this happiness and success that you would desire. And at this point, it's showing up as a lot of masculine energy. Oh crap, hold on. A lot of masculine energy that is trapping your success. We even have the Devil card here coming out in reverse for your Ten of Cups. And we have the Page of Cups negative, reinforcing the Queen of Swords negative. This is definitely very tough to read for you. I have to be completely honest, Scorpio. I'm not sure how to plug this Chariot and Ten of Cups into this, because the Devil reversed on Ten of Cups, that's so weird. Like, it's sort of a sign that you, like... Maybe you are not... I'm not sure. I have to admit, as a reader, I'm kind of baffled at this point. It was making sense up until that Chariot and Ten of Cups showed up. If we take a look at this, the Queen of Swords is somebody who... It's a feminine energy, but they're relying on their masculine mentalism way more than their... way more than their heart. And in the instances they do rely on their heart, it looks like it is maybe a little bit toxified. So there's a lot of insecurity in this reading on individuals around you. There hasn't been any water. Oh, the only water sign is the Page of Cups. So maybe you're a younger Scorpio. That's the only water individual that has come out. So younger Scorpio, maybe not it doesn't stipulate male or female for the page, but if I go off the energies here, like, there's some kind of insecure, there's an insecure, very insecure masculine energy here, despite the fact that that energy is intended for success, and maybe your intention is to find success, victory, haste, speed, that you really want to get to your Ten of Cups happiness. So the thing is the Ten of Cups can refer to having the happiness. It's almost like being apathetic to, and yeah, it's almost like being apathetic to your happy situation. So this is half speaking to the idea that you are in a situation that you always dreamed of, and you have your happiness, and your dream of happiness has been achieved, but you're not happy. Exactly. Like grass is greener on the other side kind of thing, which is very disappointing. That's essentially what Ten of Cups can signify when it's surrounded by all of this negative energy, is that you are it's insinuating that you are, even though you have that happy situation, you aren't happy inside of yourself, and that's what's being suggested at the front end as well. And I'm not sure what that is exactly. I'm really not sure, but double reverse is reinforcing that there is a sort of negative energy here. Like, and it's very interesting because there's this King of Swords with King of Wands clarified by the Fool reverse, which is very immature. So, and then they're both surrounding a chariot in the upright, which is very strange. I have to admit, I'm kind of stumped, Scorp. Kind of stumped here. Sometimes though, that, like, apparently is when people really resonate with the reading or whatever, so like, excuse me. So it is sometimes, but the obvious part of this reading is that you are, there's also a ton of, I've been getting a ton of court cards like this for other reads as well, dang. And right as soon as I said the King of Pentacles in the upright, Earth energy. Still, I am not sure about this at all. Like, This King of Pentacles is now surrounded by a ton of negative energy. The Page of Cups energy, which is maybe you, that could contribute to some illusion, internal illusion, which matches the Devil in reverse. So it's really coming down to the idea that your dreams never made you feel as good as they were supposed to in your reality once they manifested. And that's very disappointing because I can sympathize with how that feels, and it's very disappointing. It's very disappointing. Like, why did you bother to dream in the first place if by the time you got that dream it wasn't even worth it? Like, what even got that in your head that you were supposed to dream that? And that's a big piece of what I'm getting here. A huge piece of what I'm getting here, because you've got the dream of the Ten of Cups, and the fact that you might even have reached the Ten of Cups, and that's part of what would get you to this point, because you are, that's a huge part of what would get you to being kind of apathetic about your happiness, because it doesn't feel like it was supposed to feel. It was supposed to make you feel different. That was the whole point of striving for that dream. But for whatever reason, maybe if you are a younger Scorpio, maybe it's just the fact that you haven't developed your capacity to kind of understand that part of life. Excuse me, give me 1 second. My voice, I'm kind of losing my voice for a little bit. Sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, I hope this is resonating for you because I am a little stumped here. Again, like I said, at the end of the day, what's the obvious energy is that there's just a ton of disappointment. That's the only way I can really say it. And a lot of the disappointment has to do with, there's a lot of insecurity. There's a lot of mixed energy, wind, fire, water, and now earth. So there's all 4 elements in the suits, even though this King of Pentacles is like the shining glory. So I don't know if you have like an older Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn who is like maybe like a source of stability, but the energy of the King of Pentacles is somebody who's very stable and grounded, but like that energy isn't actually panning out to where you would like to see it. And I have to admit, if you are in a place of happiness, if you achieved your happiness, but it's not making you feel happy, the only thing I can really recommend is that you are, like, the universe just, you can never be done with your life. The only time you're done with your life is when you die. So the idea that there is any dream that is supposed to just be the end is just, it's not real. It's not universally realistic. So it's disappointing because the source of those dreams is the devil, is the dark force of the devil, because the dark force of the devil is what actually it's what can give you the illusion of your dream. And it gives you that illusion of the dream, so you waste your life chasing that dream. But then once you get that dream, the devil was never trying to make you feel good. So then you get that dream, and it's not there to help you feel good about it. It was just there to get you to chase the dream so you can be disappointed once you get there, because that wasn't the true purpose. So there's a huge sign here of, like, following your heart differently than your dreams. And if you are a younger Page of Cups, they're susceptible to being led around by their dreams, so to speak. They're susceptible to being dreamy individuals who are maybe easily influenced. That's a huge sign of what's going on here. Because, like, the insecurity is just all over this half of the reading over here. Insecurity from the King of Wands and the King of Swords, who are very toxic they're very toxic when they're in the reverse. The King of Wands is like a physical bully when they're in the reverse. They can pick on people with their power. The King of Swords is a verbal bully when they're in the reverse energy. The Queen of Swords can be very toxic when she's in the reverse, and that's because she's not following her heart either. So once again, Page of Cups reversed, a sign of following your dreams, being very easily influenced. But then the Queen of Swords is suggesting that there's too much mentalism in that situation, that the heart is not being listened to properly. In that instance, even if you put in all of this effort to, like, succeed in finding this Ten of Cups happiness, if it wasn't what your higher source and higher power needed you to do, you can have all of that around you and it still doesn't feel great like it was supposed to. And like I said, a part of that's because of this devil influence. The devil can impart your mentalism. It can basically inject, and this is like sort of not mainstream information, but since it's coming out like in this reading like this, I'm gonna have to say it for you. Essentially, the devil can interfere with your imagination, and they can falsify your imagination and inject into your imagination, because it's a form of higher power as well. And if you're not wary to that, you think every one of your imaginations is from your will. But in fact, that's the thing, that's the devil's power, is that they can interject into your own imagination in ways that you don't realize are from them. And if you're not wary of that, you just think every single imagination of yours is you, and you identify with that. The problem is that that can be the source of your false dreams. So there's a huge sign here that you are like, there's that influence has got you a little bit, and it empowered you to get to this Ten of Cups, but now you're just not feeling it. That's the bottom line here. You're supposed to feel better than this, having this Ten of Cups. You're supposed to feel better. You're not supposed to have all these insecure individuals around you. And if there aren't insecure individuals around you, you aren't supposed to have all this insecure energy about you. But if your Ten of Cups isn't serving you, then, and you don't understand that the devil is the source of that, there's a tendency for you to put it onto others, because something has to explain why you don't feel good. And if you're not wary to that, the problem is it starts to become anybody else around you. And whoops. Okay, so I guess that's the final card. Knight of Wands reverse. Jeez. Yeah, this is... Three kings. Every king but the King of Cups yours. Yeah, I mean, this is just... That's the best I can get for this. It's all of the reinforcing energy is just... It's reinforcing the same stuff. Your outlook is disappointed. You are... There's a ton of insecurity. Despite the fact that you've succeeded in this fashion, there's a lot of stalled energy, a lot of like lacking in. As soon as I just got the King of Cups to flip out right as soon as I was mentioning King of Cups. So I'll just put this here for now. So you've got all four kings coming out here, and this is very interesting because look at what we've got. We've got the toxified forms being in the masculine energies, fire and wind, but the optimistic forms are actually in the feminine energies, earth and water. So, and all four of them are surrounding the Fool card. So, like, oops. Oh, let me put these in here better. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, okay. So I'm gonna do a conclude real quick, because I basically understand, I think, where I'm trying to go with this for you. Alright, Scorpio, so through your success and through your effort, you have, in fact, earned yourself the happy situation that you always dreamed of. The problem that's coming through here is that upon achieving that dream, you aren't finding it making you as happy as it was supposed to. And that's creating a lot of insecurity in your life, and maybe not just your life, but the people around you. You are feeling emotionally apathetic. It's getting harder and harder to enjoy things. It's harder and harder to be enthusiastic about living. Your anticipation of life isn't there the same way. You are finding it harder to move on to new things in life even. Maybe you're finding it harder to achieve. You are maybe even to a certain extent taking it out on other people. And your outlook is shot here. You internally, you are not as confident in what it means for you to dream. You're not as confident in what it means for you to look to the future and think it matters because you've got everything you thought you ever wanted and it's not working for you. And the big kicker here is it has to do with the fact that the devil, which whatever form that takes for you, whatever the source of darkness on planet Earth is for you, the bottom line is it's interfering with your dreams. And it's the power of the devil is the fact that the devil can interfere with your imagination, and it can inject imaginations that are not yours into your stream of imagination. And if you're not aware of that fact, you just think every single thought is yours. And when you think every single thought is yours, you don't understand which of those thoughts are illusions. And if you follow those illusions, the problem is once you receive them, once that dream is achieved, if that dream was based upon the devil's illusion, once you achieve that dream, your heart is hollow. And that is what I'm seeing here for you. So it doesn't matter what you've achieved. If it wasn't your true self, if your higher source wasn't the source of that imagination, and the devil was the source of your imagination, then it doesn't matter what it was you received, you're going to feel hollow. You're going to feel like you're going to be disappointed that it's not making you as happy as it was supposed to. And that's what's really confusing, because if you've never heard of it like this before, you would never think that some of your thoughts aren't on your side, because aren't we supposed to think all of our thoughts for ourselves? And the unfortunate reality of this planet Earth is that that's not true. There is a dark presence on our planet, of our planet, in our planet, outside of our planet, wherever it resides. It's a form of higher power. And its power is that it can inject mentalisms into our mind if we are not wary of it. And it's basically the source of why humanity has struggled so much over all of its existence, because we don't really understand that source. Like, we can't materially find it, and whenever we can't find it, the last step when things start to go wrong is we start to have to blame other people. And that creates a lot of insecurity, which is what I'm seeing here. Every single court card here, except for these two kings that came out, are all in the reverse energy, which signifies that they're insecure, they're unstable, they're not channeling themselves properly. And a lot of times, especially like the King of Wands and the King of Swords, and also the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Wands, those four, they basically turn into bullies whenever their insecurities emerge. And if it's because of the devil's influence, the reason that they become bullies is because when their life starts to fail, they don't understand that the source of that failure is a source outside them. And the only thing left to do is to put that failure onto others, which is where, to a certain extent, where bullying can come from. There are legitimate toxic bullies who just like hurting others. There's other people who are doing it because they need a scapegoat. They need an outlet for things going wrong in ways that nobody has any way to explain to them. So, to turn this into a little bit of a more optimistic notion here, the trick to this whole thing, and it's coming out in the cards for you a little bit, is it's not about following those mental dreams alone. If you're following those mental dreams, but the whole time you hurt, if the whole time your heart is heavy, and your emotionality and your intuition is like slamming the brakes on what you're trying to achieve, then that means that your higher power is trying to warn you that what the route you're going down is not going to fulfill you. And unfortunately, our culture has this stick up its ass that you're supposed to just put up with toil and torment because that's supposed to be virtuous. But unfortunately, that serves the devil, because that allows the devil to seep in those illusions into your soul, into your life. And that is, and the trick, and it's not easy to do. I'm wary of it, but it's not always easy. It's about following your intuition differently. It's about following your heart differently. And to a certain extent, that's the energy we're getting here. Queen of Swords reversed is a sign of somebody with heart capacity who is overemphasizing their mentalism. You know, a feminine individual, but they lead with their mind a lot. They're the most mental of the queens. That's the symbolism here, is that they're overemphasizing their mentalism, so it's a sign to reach for your heart differently. The Page of Cups is a sign of dreaming, and in the reverse, they have a tendency to be misled through their dreams, which is where, and by dreams more specifically, what I do mean is your imagination. So if your imagination isn't heartfelt properly, then these devil illusions can seep in, and that's susceptible to this Page of Cups reverse energy. So that's another sign that your energy your emotional energy has to come forth differently. We also have an interesting sign here where your mental kings are in the reverse, but your feminine kings are not. So your fire king, your sword king, they're in the negative energy, and that's not serving you. But your King of Pentacles and your King of Cups, those are in the upright energy, which are feminine, which is more heart-based. Those are in the upright. And that's essentially the call that is coming out here for you, is that you've got to embrace your heart differently, your spiritual heart differently. It's not going to work following these mental plans anymore. You're going to get stuck being with disappointed outlook. You're going to get stuck having trouble introspecting as to what you're supposed to do. It's even showing here a sign that you've kind of normalized the momentum of that kind of mindset. It's going to make it hard to move forward. It's going to just really blunt your ability to wholesomely enjoy life, and it's going to come down to being this bully energy kind of. And that is not where you want to be. That's not why you wanted to reach this Ten of Cups. So, interesting though, no moon come out. The moon didn't come out. The High Priestess didn't come out. The Hermit didn't come out. So a lot of intuitive cards did not come out here. But that's kind of what is going on here. That's what's being suggested. It's being suggested, and I had to get really deep here and get really real with you about the devil. The source of the devil, and its effect on you. But if you are having this trouble enjoying life like you're supposed to, like you always dreamed of, that's because the dream was never going to make you happy. And that can be really tough to hear, because it's well, what the hell? Why did I even think it in the first place? And before you came to this reading, you might take that upon yourself as to think that you're faulty, or that there's something wrong with you. And I'm here to tell you that it's not that. It's the fact that this dark influence interfered with your life. And if you can get behind that idea, you don't have to take it out on other people. You can take it out on that source instead. And the way you take it out on that source is you've got to embrace your heart, and you've got to learn how to enjoy life, and not just do whatever you feel like, and not just do whatever makes you happy necessarily, but you've got to free your spirit, sort of. You've got to try to listen to higher power telling you what is best for you, because it knows better, because it's higher power. That's what that means. And if you can't listen to higher power properly, then these illusions are always going to get you. So keep that in mind here. This is definitely a sign that you've got to reach for. You've got to reach for the emotions, the emotionality, the intuitive capacity to do what is best for you in the eyes of higher power. Because if you don't, you're going to have all the happiness you ever dreamed of, but you're never actually going to be happy. So, alright, Scorpio. That's all I got for you. Thank you for being here, and I really appreciate it. It's fun when I can speak my truest truths about what holds us down. It's a huge reason of why I do this, is to poke the man in the eye, because this is basically what this is why the man exists. Because the devil empowers, quote unquote, the man. And it's that's just my life mission, is to destroy that influence upon us, because it destroys our quality of living, and it traps people like this. And I cannot stand that, and it's why I want to do this, and it's why I'm doing this. So if I can help you out, and you can figure this out, you are in a place to also contribute to combating this influence within us. So I really appreciate that you're here, and I hope you can take this to heart, because I want to see you actually enjoy yourself and actually enjoy your experience. So thank you for being here. Good luck.